5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And welcome to the Forbidden History Live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Dezert-Owl, and thank you to our special engineer today who set everything up, Shelly G. out there in California. And we're doing a test premiere program tonight on the Forbidden History Live. So let me go there. I want to make sure this thing is working. There I am. Okay, let me turn. Wait a minute. I got to mute it out. Hang on. All right, there was a problem. I was listening to myself talking. I think I'm good now. And engineer, are we doing okay? Am I still on? Stream good?
All is good.
Okay, thank you, Shelly. And so it's nice to have backup, I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. And so I haven't really been. And Ninja Cat 111, of course, has been doing a great job bringing me on every Sunday and Wednesday. And but I am needing more time to get out a lot of important information that we have, and our time seems so very short. If you want to call in on Skype or on the phone, you have to text me on the phone with your number, and then I can call you. Well, actually, no. Since I'm on the Skype now with Shelly, I'm on Skype. You can call in direct on the phone without having to text me. Just call in 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. Or you can come on the Skype, and that would be Free America Radio, all one word, Free America Radio. Again, ready to make a move to North Carolina, thereabouts, and in the Hill Country, and so we have to do a lot of packing and gearing up, and we certainly need your prayers and support out there, because basically, this ministry has been targeted, and I always want to say to somebody, how's your persecution going? Because mine's going very well. And I guess it's the product of knowing too much and being able to say it in a way that nobody else seems to be able. I don't take credit for having accumulated such a resource of deep insight, but it is the divine breath of our Heavenly Father, Yeshua, the Mo'eshiach, more primitive into the Indo-Germanic, or the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus the Messiah. But we define words here, and we have to define all words, in fact, because we don't know what we mean when we say what we mean. And hey there to Ninja and Lynn and Yalov, and hopefully we'll have some more friends dropping by. So we got about half a dozen people listening right now. And words, I have a quote here. There is a universality and a spiritual or religious instinct or nature within all of the words that we use. That's by Plutarch, Roman historian. Let me read that again. There is a universality and a spiritual or religious instinct or nature within all of the words that we use. And that's absolutely true, because I call the alphabet the seeds of light, because that's basically what they are. It all goes back to the light, because the seeds of light are the expressions of these letters. H is the breath, the A is the projection of light, the V is the creation expanded that came down, and there's just a lot. And once we get back ramped up properly, then I have a way I can draw on the YouTube, and but just no sooner were we getting ramped up than they hit me up with rent that I can't afford to pay anymore, and we have to relocate. They did it intentionally to drive us out here, and that's okay. I forgive them, but I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for the fact that their only life is in this dark world, and it's their dark world. They can have it, and I'm just looking forward to embracing the light. That's what I do every day. I give thanks for all things, including my persecution, and So we I wanted to do a book review real quick, and having to ad lib and not having anybody to go back and forth with me like on with Ninja, so I'm having to keep on talking, or the silence is deafening. You know that. And so I want to do a quick book review, and it is The Aryan Origin of the Alphabet. Just came in today, thanks to a wonderful sponsor and sister in the Yochelleg. And this glows the Sumero-Phoenician parentage of our letters, ancient and modern. The Aryan Origin of the Alphabet by L. Austin Waddell. And just in the back, I'll give you a review. Building upon his earlier works in which he proved a racial link between the Europeans and Europe, and the modern alphabet used in Europe and thus most of the world originated with the Proto-Indo-Hittite. I've never heard that hyphenated term before, Proto-Indo-Hittite, even though I recognize that's what it was. The Hittite, which is the region of Turkey today, was the primary center of the Hittite civilization. I'm ad-libbing right now. Is as far back as they take us with the Indo-Germanic, although the Pseudo-Sanskrit that we have today is connected with that. That's why it's called Proto-Indo-Hittite, because it is connected. But the true Sanskrit is on your driver's license. That's what they call the Phoenician alphabet. That's the original Sanskrit. I'm going to continue here. Okay, so and I'll back up. Originated with the Proto-Indo-Hittite script, transmitted to surrounding civilizations, and ultimately became the written tongue of the Western civilization. And by the way, give me a heads up out there on the audio on a scale of 1 to 10. How's the audio coming through? And hello, Christina, and welcome to the broadcast. The origin of our alphabet in alphabetic writing, one of the greatest and most useful of human inventions, has long been the subject of countless conjectures, but has hitherto remained wholly unsolved. Well, maybe for you. The new evidence now discloses by concrete proofs that unknown origin, the meaning of the letters or signs or symbols, the object that they represent with their original names and meanings, and their racial authorship, which is found to be not Semite. That's actually one of their codes. Thank you, Jan, for the heads up, and Ninja. Okay, and not Semite, as hitherto supposed. That was the propaganda, okay, of the Khazarian Jews, actually. But it is Aryan, okay? Isn't that by what I've been talking about? The invention of the alphabet is traced to the leading mercantile and seafaring branch of the ruling Aryans or Sumerians, namely the Hitto-Phoenicians. So now he's calling them Hitto-Phoenicians, meaning that this seafaring culture that we called the Phoenicians actually stemmed out of the Hittite civilization. And that's obviously why they were so powerful. That makes a lot of sense, that right there on the shores of what we call Turkey today, they were also a seafaring culture that were, they've just basically swept our history under the rug, and they never teach us these, true origins. But, there is some YouTubes on the Hittite civilization. I highly recommend you check it out. There's 2 good documentaries, actually, and they do a great job presenting the story. Of course, all the Aryans, none of the Aryans in there have blonde hair. They all have black hair for some reason and dark skin, even though they're Aryan. That's how they trick us in the narrative. The seafaring branch of the ruling Aryans or Sumerians, namely the Hitto-Phoenicians, and his personality appears to be found in King Cadmus, the Phoenician sea emperor of about 1200 BC, after whom the Greeks named their early alphabetic letters. The effect, therefore, of these constructive discoveries is destructive of the current established theories. Theories is not science, because they're hiding the science, of modern historians and philologists on the racial origin of the higher civilization and of civilized writing, both hieroglyphic and alphabetic. It thus necessitates a new reorientation of the facts of ancient history and of the history of our modern civilization, unquote. From the conclusion. About the author, Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Austin Waddell, 1854 through 1938, was a professor of Tibetan. Well, that's a deep study. Professor of chemistry and pathology, a British Army surgeon, and an explorer who traveled widely in India, Nepal, and Tibet. He was also a philologist and linguist, and one of only a few scholars able to fully translate Sumerian and Sanskrit, a skill for which he won great renown. Well, this is my kind of book, and it's only about just over 100 pages. It's not like it's a major work. Actually, it's less than 100. And so I read a little bit of it today, and it is fantastic, and some of the best research material is coming in just over the last few days, and I've got a few that are coming in right now that are going to really enhance the discussion. Okay, and it is a discussion. It's a discussion is with two people going back and forth. So if you have a comment or a question, love to hear from you, an observation, or you just want to give a radio check, love to hear from you. Okay, so that book again is The Aryan Origin of the Alphabet. So that's the great deception is, well, they got people saying, well, the Aryans came from the west and went into the east, and the other group says, no, the Aryans came from the east and went into the west, and and that's okay. So, but you really don't know where they came from, huh? Wow, wonder why. Maybe it was Adam. Maybe it's in our scriptures, and it's right in front of us. The truth is right in front of us, but they're not gonna talk about it because they don't want us to know about this. That's what's going on. So let me get a little more light here, and we're going to talk symbols, and we're going to get into the dictionary of scriptures and myths. Okay, and again, want to welcome any new listeners out there. If you want to ask a question on the chat, just put my name in capital letters, Desert in all caps, and I'll see it coming up. Or Shelley, if you see it and I don't, then you can let me know, of course. So let's go here. Let's go to, I think I want to do, well, these symbols are short, so I don't have a lot. So let me do that since I'll get it out of the way. But I have a definition of crisis. I'm almost done with these. I actually finished the other encyclopedia of symbols just the other day, and now I'm just winding down. I'm in the last alphabet of C and S in this other one that came out of Spain originally, the Dictionary of Symbols by Sirlot. And so this is the symbolism of crisis. Man tends to question his destiny mostly in moments of crisis, no doubt. That is when the stream of life, either the stream within him of his feelings and passions, his abnormal urges or sense of inadequacy, or the flowing outside of him, or that flowing outside of him, the flood of obstacles and failures in communication goes against him or carries him along farther than he would wish. There is then a primordial desire in man to experience inversion, that is, to find the technique whereby everything of a kind can be transmuted into its opposite. So, for example, illness inverted becomes health, or hate into love, or loneliness, company, ignorance, wisdom, dissension, solidarity, rancor, forgiveness, sadness, happiness. The enemy's victory turns to rout and drought to fertility. Such inversion at first appears as a crossroads, that is, as a potentiality. Then it takes the form of symbols of sacrifice, expressing the latent and valid idea that in every negative situation there is a direct or an indirect sense of guilt. Then finally comes the symbols of inversion, proper and of rebirth. That's the second born. And hello that way. Good to have you. And welcome to our premiere edition of the Forbidden History Live. Okay, program number 102, Forbidden History Live. And there's so many symbols that I'm going to have to probably start over. Once I finish the book, I'll just start over again. But there's a lot we can talk about with symbols, because everything is a symbol. Everything that you see every day is a symbol, and there's no getting around it, and therefore it has meaning. Just like as I saw that I was leaving this criminal area of Ohio, and they had down at the walkway a bridge, and I've been watching them for the better part of the winter build a bridge across the river there. And then I realized, well, that Yeshua at the same time is building a bridge for me to escape the 5 years of being targeted by these Masons that hate Yahweh. They hate true Christians. They hate people that are trying to make it a better world because they want to make it a worse world, and they don't care for competition. So but the symbolism was there in that structure. I didn't see it right away, but once I realized I was leaving town, then I got the picture that the building of that bridge was symbolic of a bridge being established by Yahweh for my situation to relocate. Okay, so that's why it is important to be able to read the symbol. It's a confirmation. It's a high sign, because we know that the Great Spirit controls all of mankind. Even though mankind has free will, at different times Yahweh uses them to serve his purpose. They are his footstool, as it says in the metaphor. And so he says, okay, go build a bridge over here. And all the people start saying, hey, why don't we build a bridge? Yeah, sure, that's a good idea, and we'll make money. And and so they go building a bridge and thought it was their idea, but Yeshua put the idea in their head so that I would get the picture, okay? So that I would see it as a confirmation of, okay, yeah, a bridge is being built, and I get it. It's my time to leave. And after 5 years of being targeted and persecuted here in Millersburg, Ohio, I'm glad to be leaving this phony estate that they are so proud of, but it's all an illusion, all an illusion. So so in the wait a minute, I thought I had one more on symbols. Let me back up here for a second. Let me see. I missed one. Yeah, okay, there is one more. It is staff. Okay, so we're talking about symbols, and we have to get the picture. The staff is now in the Indo-Germanic, staff being a corruption of a root word based on the Indo-Germanic. Staff would be star-fe. Well, look at that snake with 2 legs on it. Can you imagine? A staff. It would be star-fe. The star-fe. The ST is an abbreviation for star, and the af is the fe, Phay, the star-fe. And so the staff, the star-fe, has a double symbolism: as a support and as an instrument of punishment. As regards the first, Fraser notes that the ancient Mitzrayim, falsely called Egyptians, held a festival after the autumn solstice, which they called the Nativity of the Sun Stick. There you go. The star-fe is being called the Sun Stick. Okay? That's what star-fe means. How about that? You see, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get some red ink going on this thing. I can't believe it. I can't get my pen working here. Okay, I'm going to have to get one of those new pens I got in recently. Hang on. And the Sun Stick, because the staff is just like a similar to a scepter, a royal scepter, but of course the staff belongs to the shepherd, but then the king is the shepherd of the nation, and so it's really symbolically the same stick or the same staff. And so backing up here, so they call the Nativity of the Sun Stick because they suppose that the day grew shorter and the sunlight weaker. The sun needed a stick for support. Dali has revived the mythic staff in the form of crutches, which are a recurrent theme in his paintings. The use of staff symbolism, both among the ancient Mezrayim and in a modern artist such as Dali, he did a lot of work with Walt Disney, exemplifies an elementary principle of symbolism. The correlation and interchangeability of the material and spiritual aspects of a given situation. As a weapon, it is symbolically identical with the club, the royal weapon. Oedipus kills Laius, whom he does not know to be his father, with a blow of his staff. Wow. Well, that actually that's identical to the story of Cain and Abel, because Yeshua was in the character of Abel. That's why he's got AB, even though it sounded like he was born second. AB means he was the first, and he was the first by Yeshua. And so Cain, without realizing it, is killing his father. I can't get over it. Here's the story right in this story of symbolism. I don't know about Oedipus and Laius, but you see Laius has light in the name. The us is the light. And so there's the story in another mythology about the beginning, how it started with the Aryan race. They already had infighting. You know, it's amazing. And the ego kills the innocent, and that's the story on planet Earth, right? I'm telling you. Okay, I have a quote here. To the Samaritans by Ignatius. I've heard of some who say, unless I can find it written in the originals, go find them, okay? There are none. Unless I can find it written in the originals, I will not believe it to be written in the star message or the quote-unquote Gospels. Then when I breathe, this is the way that it has been written, they then respond back with what lays before them in their own corrupted texts. You see? And so that's the problem. You know, like they get the King James out and say, "Grandma, King James, you know, it says this," and but they don't. They can't even wrap their mind around the fact that when it says in Revelations, correctly actually, that the beast system deceived the entire world, that somehow their scriptures have got it right when it says that the beast system deceives the entire world. So where does the deception lie if it doesn't lie within the writings themselves, you know? And then even in the words. So we have a real bit of work to overcome this dilemma that we're in. So my reading in the Dictionary of Scriptures and Myths in last day was Incarnation of Spirit, and I thought this would be a good read. And want to welcome any new listeners to the broadcast. By the way, you're tuned into Forbidden History Live, and I see Mew Mew. Hope Mew Mew gets on, Lynn. I guess she's not able to get onto the internet right now, but hope she's doing okay. I know she just went through a loss of her best friend, and so we hope she's doing okay. Plus, not to mention what Venice they're doing down south, obviously. Don't forget tomorrow, Dane Wigington, ladies and gentlemen. Approximately, he usually posts his 1 hour presentation every Saturday about 3 p.m. Eastern time, sometimes earlier. But Dane is on the tip of the needle and cutting edge of telling us where we are basically in the timeline of the takedown of planet Earth, because planet Earth is over. Okay, it's just a matter of time now. The methane is going high into the atmosphere. The UVC and B is raining down upon us. All of life is dying, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. If there was, these creeps that are doing it have some special formula for fixing it, I doubt it. and it will take millions of years to ever come back to the way it was. So we're spiraling down, and the only thing we have left is our spirituality, our true nature, what we really are, the spiritual truth. So let's dive into it, shall we? Incarnation of spirit, a symbol of the embodiment of spirit in matter, or of the soul or self in the lower nature, flesh. Involution of the qualities, spirit, is the process which precedes the express functioning of the divine life upon the several planes of existence. Incarnation completes involution and is the point where evolution commences. Incarnation is the completion of the archetypal man, the Moeshiach, the perfect image of Yahweh, or spiritual human pattern within the soul. In the involution of the self, the Moeshiach sheds his blood, i.e. involves his life, blood. In the self-evolution, the blood of the Moeshiach, Christ, takes away all sin, washes it away, i.e. the divine life welling up as an inner fountain, constantly brings wisdom, love, and truth to the struggling souls as they realize their deficiencies and yearns for perfection. Schelling laid down the proposition, the incarnation of the great Elohim is an incarnation from eternity. He understood, comprehended under the incarnate Son of Yahweh, the finite itself in the form of the earthly consciousness, which in its contradistinction to the infinite wherewith it is nevertheless one, appears as a suffering deity subjected to the conditions of time. And that's D.F. Strauss, Life of Yeshua. May not the love which conquers the dark natures of selfishness, which raises the individual soul above the narrow world of self-interest, and in society transforms the natural struggle for existence into the endeavor to realize the ethical solidarity of all men? May not this love be rightly conceived as a supernatural power, revealing itself as a divine travain, all attracting force in the souls of Ashan men, like the force of gravitation in the material world? Love is the fulfilling of the law. Now Moesha is the word. I was just reading it in the Aramaic tonight. The word law was defined as now Moesha, not the Torah or the Mosaic law. It is the now Moesha. That's how they were saying it in the Aramaic, meaning that the cosmic law, the natural law that came down, since it transforms the external, compelling command into the free impulse and active force of the heart. Why then may we not perceive in love the incarnation of the divine logo, which was consummated not once only, but ever comes to pass, where love unites the hearts of men and consecrates society so that it becomes the kingdom of the great Elohim. Early Christian conception of the Moeshiach, Christ. Earthly nature did not begin to be with Hadam, but existed forever in the eternal Moeshiach, Christ. I hold then that the incarnation was the great Elohim's commentary. There you go. That the incarnation, that all of creation is the commentary right there in all form and symbol. that the incarnation was the great Elohim's commentary on that verse in Genesis as well. In the image of the great Elohim created he man. Yes, from the beginning there had been a second character in this Trinity, in the duality, a Moeshiach, whose nature included the archetypal man. In due time, this Aishon type was copied and incorporated in the special exhibition of a race. The first made is the Aryan race, and it came last. That which is first is like that which is last, that which is last like that which is first. And Yeshua, that which is made first, he the first made, who made all things, intended to come to earth through the Nazaré, who were the Aryan pure line, to bring forth his truth to the world, the truth. There it degenerated, continuing, there it degenerated and went off into blindness from this special exhibition of a race. Then it went into blindness. That was the fallen one. That's Adam. The fallen one is Adam. And then his offspring fell, the fallen watchers, the Vekeresh. And then even through the pure tribe of Abraham, that tribe fell as well, because it was expressive of the nature of being in this world in the fall. And then the Moeshiach, who had been what he was forever, came down and brought the pattern and set it down beside the degenerated copy. He set it down beside the degenerated copy. That's us. We are the duplicates. Toma is not the twin. He was the duplicate. Toma, not Thomas, but Toma. Take the A at the end and put it at the beginning. What do you get? The atom. The atom. Toma is the atom. He is the duplicate. We are the duplicate. And the duplicate is only an imitation. The only way we can be perfect is to put on that first atom, atom, of the Spirit. That's the great mystery, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? And so he sat down beside the degenerate copy and wrought Aishon's hearts to shame and penitence when they saw the everlasting type, the prototype, the protogene of what they had been meant to be, walking among the miserable shows of what they were. Reminds me of the this one corporate logo slogan. We're no worse than anybody else. That was a good slogan, wasn't it? Yeah. So suppose I find in Revelation this sublime truth, that the man type for which I am so anxious has had an eternal existence as a part and parcel of the deity. That, however, this manifestation of it has been reached. There is manifest in every Aishon the image of a pattern life that is in the great Elohim. Perfection is all around us, and yet we want to deny that we can be perfect. Well, nobody's perfect, right? Sure. Then they deny even the scriptures themselves, which define those who were indeed perfect. Let me carry away from Revelation the supreme truth of the eternal humanity of the Moeshiach, and then my ethical life, my reverence for the nature which I share, my high ambition after its perfection, all this is unimpaired. After its perfection, all this is then unimpaired. Let science show me my affinities with the lower life. A mightier hand points me to my connections with the higher. Philip Brooks, Mystery of Iniquity. That's inequity. Iniquity. They just slant those words just a little bit. The great Elohim becomes incarnate through the eternal principles that underline the conscience and the affections of the Eshan. In his reason and his victory of light organized into character as intellectual light and noble love. S. Johnson, Oriental Religions. Incarnation then is the ethical process by which the divine logo becomes one with the ethical, pure, earthly character. Eshan, man, conscious of inherent weakness, longs for union with Yahweh. In the incarnation, Yahweh and Eshan become one. Man feels himself exposed to a strange fascination which attracts him towards the blindnesses and draws him away from the great Elohim. In the Moeshiach, he meets, baffles, and overcomes the personal agent of all temptation. Eshan feels that he is a slave to nature, over which a sure instinct tells him that he was designed to rule. He was designed to rule his lower nature. In the Moeshiach, he exercises that dominion, making all physical forces subservient to his will. Man fears disease, affliction, and bereavement. In the Moeshiach, all sorrows become medicinal and conduce to the perfection of our renewed nature. Man has two great foes, blindness and death, the penalty of blindness. The Moeshiach crushes blindness and expels it from his dominions. Death he converts into the last best friend, the opener of the portal of life in a day without end, the eternal. There can only be one reason why the eternal spirit should ever consent to become imprisoned within material forms, and that is that its latent powers may declare themselves. Undifferentiated unity must become endless variety. The unmanifest must split up to utter itself. There could be no such thing as a earthly soul if boundless spirit did not deliberately put some portion of itself in a ring fence, so to speak, that it may be cultivated and made to body forth its hidden riches. There is a gold mine within you. Every soul is thus a point through which the infinite expresses itself, declares a divine idea, absolutely separate and distinct from every other, though closely related thereto and destined to rich fulfillment in a wondrous whole, which shall include all the perfection of all the races. R.J. Campbell, Sermon of God's Life in Man. Birds and beasts equally with ourselves are the incarnation of an indestructible life whose greatest manifestations have yet to come, and the whole creation is a solidarity which with man in the expression of the divine idea. R.J. Campbell, Sermon, Evolution of the Spiritual Man. The Moeshiach is that perfect humanity within us from which man feels himself getting loose by blindness, but to which he also feels that if he can only return and cling, he will once more be reunited to the great Elohim. The incarnation is the supreme manifestation of this. The incarnation, which is for popular Christianity synonymous with the historical birth and early earthly life of the Moeshiach, Christ, is for the mystic not only this, but also a perpetual cosmic and personal process. It is an everlasting bringing forth in ascending soul, bringing forth in the universe and also in the individual ascending soul of the divine and perfect life, the pure character of the great Yahweh, of which the one historical life dramatized the essential constituents. Hence, the soul, like the physical embryo, resumes in its upward progress the spiritual life history of the race. That's Underhill from mysticism. The suggestion of an incarnation is the supreme potential excellence of earthly nature. The star message of enlightenment prohibits any doubt as to the ethical competence of men to rise to the perfection exhibited in the incarnate. Let me read that one more time. That's the last part here. The suggestion of an incarnation is the supreme potential excellence of earthly nature. The star message of enlightenment prohibits any doubt as to the ethical competence of men to rise to the perfection exhibited in the incarnate. The value, H. Hensley, Henson. And then we have one more short one, the incarnation of souls. I'll go ahead and read that. And I hope, I heard we had some buffering there, but I guess everything's going. And Ninja, you said, let me know when you need a break. I can do a quick call. Do a quick call then, Ninja. I'm right there, so feel free to do so. Okay, incarnation of souls. The descent of the spiritual egos into earthly form on the lower planes. The divine monad, Atma Buddha, at a certain stage splits up in a limited measure, as it were, into many monads, an enormous but limited number. Each of these spirits, sparks, or souls is ready to incarnate in humanity when mind is attained. They become the deepest selves in every earthly being, the immortal spirits in each. At first, they are almost totally obscured by the activities of the desire and sense natures, but gradually the stimulation from without arouses the qualities and potencies latent within them. The man becomes not only a mental but spiritual being. My God is my deeper self, the great Elohim, and yours too. He is the self of the universe, the omniverse, and knows all about it. He is never baffled and cannot be baffled. The whole cosmic process is one long incarnation and uprising of the being of the great Elohim from itself to itself. R.J. Campbell, The New Theology. And Ninja, you calling in? We're good to go here. I'm ready for a break. And we just read, I think I have one more actually out here, but you can call in the meantime. Ninja, that's okay. And yeah, this was my morning read here, where it says Jesus wept. And Shelley, I'm going to want to pace myself. Please put on the short break, and then we'll be right back. It's a 3-minute break, ladies and gentlemen, and then maybe Ninja Cat will call in, and we'll see how things are going down under, if we can do that. Hope all systems are go there. Houston, do we have a problem? Standing by. There she goes. Okay, the Forbidden History series. What they didn't want you to know, but we tell right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on.
I'm sure.
Get this thing going.
I know there's some sound back there. Shelley, do you not have the audio? I'm hearing some.
I'm trying to do it right now.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not doing it.
Okay.
Ninja.
Well, that's okay. Then Shelley's gonna have to sing, I guess. I don't know.
No, I can get my guitar out.
Do you think? Oh, didn't I thought this worked? I thought we had this.
It did work.
It did. Okay. But not when you're ready, when you really need it. Okay.
Right.
So
We'll get it
all right.
down.
We'll get it. That's all right. So can you count to 100 and I'll be right back. Never mind.
Yes.
No,
You
we
take
can't
a
do
break.
that.
I'll talk. I'll talk.
You
to
have
the-
a
I'll
you
talk
have
to
a
everyone.
guitar? You have a guitar?
Yep.
Okay, so you're a singer?
No, I'm not.
No. Oh, okay. You just
No.
have a guitar. Okay.
Yeah, I know
got
how. I know how to play a little bit.
it. I did that. I was a street singer in Vegas once. I did I had my 15 minutes of fame and realized there was so much talent out there. I wasn't going anywhere, so
Yeah, it's not our calling.
Yeah, I went back to driving nails and hammering. So okay, so what if we try the other one? If we try a different one, do you think it worked? Or
Let me try
sure?
Let me try muting us out and see if it works.
Okay, that maybe you have to shift gears. Go ahead,
Okay,
try
hold
it.
on one moment.
All right. Whoops.
Yes. Well, let's keep rolling.
All right, and then we'll. Okay, Ninja. Well, yeah. How is it going? That's the question.
It's amazing. You sound perfect.
Well, wonderful.
It's like the good old days. Yeah.
Okay. Good old days was last year. Right. I remember that.
It feels like the good old days.
Yeah. You need to speak up as much as you can because you sound low to me. Shelley, you tell me, is it pretty balanced on the meter? Go ahead, Ninja. You talk.
Okay, sorry, I'm just multitasking. Ninja is biting the computer while I'm trying to get the chat up. Yeah, do I sound okay now?
Yeah, you're a little louder now, and I'm hoping we're balanced. That's the main thing.
It's better now. It's better.
It's okay. Good deal. Go ahead, Ninja. So, how are things down under in Australia?
It's really strange here at the moment. It's very balmy through the day and cold at night. It's weird, and yeah, I don't know, it's a struggle, but I'm trying to stay positive, because that's all I can do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. I thought it was always crazy down there. I didn't know you had breaks in the craziness, but that's okay.
Well, not really breaks. It's just we had like 2 days of instant winter, and now it's gone back to comfortable warm weather with the
Okay.
sun that's too hot.
Yeah, that's that weather whiplash that Dane Wigington talks about, and so they're I think because it seems to me when we have overcast, then they nucleate the clouds and we get the cold. It goes back down and it goes back up. Same deal over here. Same thing.
And also, like all over summer, the mountains in the distance had a permanent haze over them, like really noticeable. And that didn't happen every day before summer. So, and it's just a permanent haze here now, whether it's a clear day, cloudy day, windy day, whatever. And I saw a video the other day. A woman was filming on her front veranda at night a mist that was just coming down, and she said it was fine and weird and very thick. It's like a thick mist, but it was fine, and there was no, like, it wasn't water. There was no moisture. And 2 nights ago, I had exactly the same thing here. Like, I was letting the cats out, and it was about 2 in the morning, and there was almost a full moon, and I could not see the moon. I could not see a light source from the moon.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see any sky whatsoever. It was very strange. Like, it was lit up by the moon, but it was a funny sort of pinky colour, and I couldn't find the light source from from the moon. It was that thick, and it affected my throat as soon as I walked outside. So I think it was the same thing that this woman filmed.
Yeah.
This strange.
That's when you stay in, or you get those masks. You wear that mask when you go out. And,
exactly.
Now, Now, just out of curiosity, being that you're in a different part of the world, I was just curious. We just over the last night just acquired a full moon. So, what phase is your moon in? Being that you're in Australia, you don't have a full moon, obviously, right? You have something different.
Yeah. It was a full moon last night. It was clear.
Really?
Yeah, it was a full moon last night. But my moon is weird.
Right.
Like I was saying, how it's rising in different spots. It moved again. It's gone from too far north over summer to like the tree I was telling you about that I monitored. It's gone from the northern side of the tree to the southern side of the tree, which is directly east, if that makes sense, to the middle of the tree. It rose behind the tree the last 2 nights. So yeah, I'm keeping track of it, and I filmed it, but I put one up. I filmed it twice. I put one up on my channel, and I'm going to catch it next time it moves. I'm filming from exactly the same position every time I see it, so I'm going to catch it next time it moves. So I've got the evidence.
So then you can make a moon report and call the radio tower again, right? Hey, did you guys know that moon is moved in a location? Okay, we need to turn up the frequency, guys. All right.
Add a bit more of that mist. So people don't notice.
Who do you go to report that your world is crashing? Hey, we got a bunch of psychopaths spraying our world. Can we? Well, you want to report it?
Call Triple O here. Emergency moon. No, we do. Any weird sky phenomena, that's what people do. They go straight to Triple O, which I think is your 911 emergency. They go straight to Triple O. Anything weird in the sky.
Oh, you guys hit 3 O's to call emergency?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, is that significant?
Well, yeah, that's oh. Look out. Yeah. It's sort of the way they do things down under, right? That's always funny. Yeah.
They really know more than what we think, or know more than we realize.
Yeah. Well, it was amazing when we got those push-button phones here in America back in the late 1960s. I remember that right on those push-button phones, they had it set up for 911. 911 was the emergency, and little did we know that was their secret society occult number that goes back thousands of years, actually, and it was destined to be the symbol for the Twin Towers that went down.
Yeah, wow! I noticed something actually. I think it was near the end of last year. Around September 11th, when the anniversary, when a lot of people were making videos on it, and talking about grid failures and resets and all that sort of thing. A lot of people were referring to 911 as they were saying 9/11 instead, and
Thank you.
It didn't give me a very good feeling, like seeing everybody over YouTube referring to 911 emergency as 9/11. I just really noticed that. And we did not have the Triple O set up on our phones like that. That's strange.
Yeah.
On our own phones, we had to actually dial it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, very good. Is there anything else on your itinerary here?
Not lately. I've been going through the last few days of exhaustion. I slept for 10 hours last night and woke up. Felt like I didn't sleep. The frequencies are really bad here, like just in general. I'm not talking about the T words, I won't say it. Um, yeah, the frequencies in general from the sky and the whatever they're doing up there. They're just really strong, and I notice they get more intense after used to be about 10 p.m. Now it's been brought forward a couple of hours. About 8 p.m. they get really intense, and then they add like I'm talking about the ringing, the screaming, and at about 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, then they bring in the low hum, and it doesn't stop and start anymore. It's constant, and I can feel it vibrating, like it's constant vibration. And yeah, so I just want to say, I've noticed around YouTube, there's a few people that think that Australia's kind of getting off scot-free with all this, and we're not. We're getting it just as bad as the rest of the world. People are just not talking about it. Somebody actually left me a comment, replied to one of my comments saying that Canberra doesn't get sprayed anywhere near as much as anywhere else because there's politicians here, and so the politicians are safe, and that's not true. It's just as bad as everywhere else. It's hazy every day. When they're not spraying, they're drifting over from the west. Big ones, big chemtrails. The sky is manipulated and not natural here. There's all kinds of weird, and the politicians aren't here all the time anyway. They don't even stay in the capital city. Half of them don't live here. They just travel here for their parliamentary meetings. We even had one Prime Minister that lived in Sydney and commuted the whole time he was Prime Minister. So, and we don't get to choose them anymore either. So, yeah. So I just wanted to say that because there's a lot of people that think that we're not getting it, and we are. So,
right. No, you're getting it. Even your rainforests burn now. They nobody who ever heard of a rainforest catching on fire, but that's
exactly.
what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say that I love this. It's amazing. I have that feeling back again. It's very powerful being able to like, as much as I love doing the chronicles. For any new listeners, Forbidden History Chronicles. We also do that on my channel. But this is a break for me. I can sit back and listen and put my little emojis in the chat and do a quick call in. And yeah, it's just good to have a change. And so thank you to you and Shelley and everybody. Yeah, my family.
Absolutely. Well, you've been keeping the Forbidden History going, and I'm sure is appreciated. And the time, you want to give out the times when people can listen to the Forbidden History Chronicles on Ninja Cat 111.
I'm just thinking. I'll do it your time. What is it now? It's 10 a.m. Every Wednesday and Sunday for the Forbidden History Chronicles, which is 12 a.m. every Wednesday night, every Sunday night, Aussie time, Eastern Standard Time, and that other time is Eastern Standard Time in the US.
Yeah,
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Eastern. Yeah,
Sunday.
That's right. Yeah, and so are you? Is there any question that you are still trying to figure something out? I know that you haven't. You've got a lot of ground to cover in your studies, Ninja. You're a newcomer to Yeshua over the last year or so, and so is there anything that you're still, that the I know you've been following a lot of what we're doing, but my point is that still, when we're trying to figure things out, is there something that's on the front of your head with the nature of things, or the salvation story, or anything like that?
Probably, but my brain is it's not working properly at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love doing this today, so that I can focus. I haven't had many interruptions, like most of you know. I'm looking after Mum at the same time, and so I give thanks to Yeshua for allowing me to sit for a while and do this today. Yes, I do have something. I was going to bring it up on the Chronicles. All these things that are happening at the moment with the burning of Notre Dame. I didn't really want to bring it up because it's all over YouTube. But is there something significant about April apart from Easter? What they've done with Easter? Is there something significant about the month of April? Is my question.
Yeah.
Or the word April, or
yeah.
something.
Well, today, interestingly enough, you mentioned that today is the High Occult Day. One of the two, I would say, highest occult days in Freemasonry and the Vatican, and that is April 19th. So today, today's date in particular has this whole series of events that have occurred, going back, as far as I can remember, going back where I heard it take off from would be like in the American Revolution, Lexington and Concord, when the proverbial shot was fired and heard around the world, which was the first marshaling of the British forces against the colonists, and they killed a famous black man as a result, called Crispus Attucks. And so that was 1775, and that was April 19th, just prior to the official start of the revolution. So then we can take April 19th forward to prior to World War II, or the initiation of World War II. I think it was 1933. That was a very interesting year for America, and with the bankruptcy. But that's when the Warsaw Ghetto burned, April 19th, when they were genociding what may have been more so the Sephardic Jews versus the Ashkenazi Khazars. Then we can, interestingly enough, Hitler's birthday is April 19th. And you think they induced labor on that day? Maybe they did. April 19th. Waco was the day they assaulted the Branch Davidian home and church, not a compound, but a home and a church, and they used tanks to pump gas, poke holes in the building to make it into a flue, and pump highly flammable gas into the building, and with 5 Delta Force machine gun nests positioned around the building, and then were machine gunning anyone who tried to escape from the doors. And then they set it on fire. Then an incendiary round was sent in with the tank, and all this was caught on a flare film. It was all seen with the high from 10,000 feet. All of this activity, I saw it on film, and so that was 19th when they had. Well, interestingly enough, that day on April 19th, that afternoon, the boy that never grew up, Clinton, he was dedicating that afternoon to the Jewish Society the Holocaust Museum, April 19th, dedicating the Holocaust Museum to the Jewish Society here in America. And he says that this thing
will never happen to you again, right? While at the same time, the ashes of Waco and 100 men, women, and children are smoldering when he dedicated the Holocaust Museum. And that's something, Ninja, huh?
Well, I'm just googling the exact date. I should know it. I think it's April 25th. Anzac Day here. Another one.
Okay. Well,
April.
to go further, the building of the Murrow building, the federal building in Oklahoma City, was bombed from the inside with strategically placed munitions, military grade. They blew up the building on April 19th as well. And some wanted to say, well, it was, because they did Waco on April 19th, and this patriot, so-called patriot McVeigh, who was really a underground military operative, he wanted to be special forces. Well, he became the most special force and tool for them to institute, more terror in our nation and to demonize patriotic Americans who wear fatigues or carry a gun or who care about the Constitution. It was a great cover. So that was April 19th. And Columbine, as in Columbia, Columbine would have been on April 19th, but April 19th was Sunday. So on April 20th, the two mind control students went into their school in Columbine, Colorado, and committed mass murder against their own schoolmates. So there's your April 19th, and there's no doubt more, and that's just what I can do off the top of my head. Mm-hmm.
Wow, you know a lot off the top of your head, is it?
Yeah, well, I've been doing this too long. I need a vacation, and I don't want to come back, Ninja. You know what I mean? So it's like I really wanted to become a student of all this, psychopathic nature of our world. Like this was something I want. Hey, I think I want to go and learn how this world really stinks and how these, the idiots really run it. I just wanted to have a normal life like anybody else. But then when I got stuck in a truck, started listening to talk radio, all of a sudden I realized I couldn't turn it off anymore and had to pursue the knowledge. So, the Father gave me, the Father gave me the conscience to want to know, so now I know too much. So what can I say? And now I'm a targeted individual as well,
Yeah. Well, I'm always creating light for you and
Thank you.
And everybody. Yeah. In this crazy, sick world that it has become or has been for a very long time.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Now, well.
I'm supposed to be talking because I'm live on the phone, but I get listening and wowing. Sorry.
Yeah. Well. The other. What was the question again? Is there any significance behind the month of April? Oh, with Easter. You were connecting with Easter.
Yeah. No, you reminded me of something else that I saw. As much as I don't want to talk about Notre Dame, they have given it a bit of time on mainstream as well, and they made a point of showing a picture of the glowing cross that didn't get burned. And I thought that was just a real significant piece of symbolism that they were putting up there. That was all. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cross.
I
that raced in and saved the crown of thorns. Don't get me started on that.
Well, it is interesting that the Cathedral of Notre Dame has burned, and it was just 2 days off from the 19th. So they didn't want it to be too obvious, and so they took it off a couple of days. Yeah. Very possible. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sneaky.
Yeah. So with Easter, what was that question again now? So we can get back on track here. What was that?
The significance of April and
All right.
the word April. And
okay.
Easter.
Yeah.
You've mentioned all those significant events, and it's just becoming really clear to me why we're doing all this right now. communicating, they're implementing their agenda, and they're also making it look like prophecy is playing out, like making it biblical. All these things going on at once. And you just made it clearer for me, the significance of April and Easter. Yeah.
Right.
But did you want regarding the code with the actual word April? I hate saying word now.
Yeah. Well, the APRIL, the P is probably a V, and it's Avril, Avrial. So the real star. What is the real star? It is the East Star. It is the Eastern Star in the Easter, the Estor, the A Star, the East Star, and so and that's where we get Ishtar from, the goddess Ishtar, Isis, all related. So it is the spring, equinox, and although I think we've actually passed it, feel like we passed it. I think they may have manipulated the date. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, that's what it's about. And so, I mean, they hate the light, so they probably on Saturday in their dungeons have a nice dark ritual and bloodletting, and then they come out and they put their sunglasses on and have their Eastern, mass. But of course they got us when we were little. At least I did. We'd go to the park, and like mine was in Central Jersey, Donaldson Park or Roosevelt Park, and they'd have all of us little boys and girls run and run through the field and look for the eggs that they planted in the field, and we're getting eggs. So the eggs are symbols of fertility, but also the egg is the second sun. That's why egg has two G's, EGG, because what it means is second sun. The G is the symbol of the sun, and there's virtually no other word with two G's in it. There may be one other, but that's a very unique spelling of a word, egg, like that. And so it's the second sun is what it means. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, when you said two G's, you just made me think of something else.
Uh-huh.
This is going to sound silly, but I can see it. The word leg, legging, Legging.
Yeah.
Legging.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and okay, and there's a duality there, of course, because we have two legs, but then of course the leg, the leg, the letter L is the symbol for the obelisk and also the illumination. So that's because it's a symbol of us being that we walk on our 2 feet, that we are of a higher creation. We're not like the 4-footed animals. So that's just a distinction that we have.
Yeah, and also, sorry, tell me if I'm wrong. Legging, I don't know if you say it over there. They're pants that we wear. And it made me think of shirt pants.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Are you saying you're a serpent, Ninja?
No.
Yeah. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Your flesh is a serpent. You can't deny it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You you're eating the dust of the earth every day, right? Like the curse upon the serpent was, right?
And breathing it, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that serpent right up on the screen. Got 2 legs walking. I can't get over it.
Yeah. That's an amazing picture.
Yeah, they knew the truth, so they made pictures out of it. So yeah, but the good news is we're spirit, and so and this is not our world. So therefore, now that they've destroyed our world, it should be far easier to want to make a connection with the one who made all things, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple, but as you've witnessed in my journey, just of this past year, my struggle to do that, to transform and just deprogram. It's so simple but so hard at the same time. And yeah, I'm really grateful because I know
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, without.
Okay. Well, I should go because I've been
Oh,
locked
okay.
in my room for a few minutes too long. I apologise. I'd love to see
No,
you.
I was glad to have you come on the premiere broadcast on the Forbidden History Live, and so thank you.
Wouldn't miss it. Wouldn't miss it, is it? And thank you so much to Shelley for doing this. Yeah, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, please continue.
Okay, well, if that's it, then I'm so glad you're listening in and calling in, and also we'll be looking for Sunday morning and 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll do the Forbidden History Chronicles. What they didn't want us to know, but we keep on telling because somebody's got to do it, right, Ninja?
Right. And you heard it here first.
That's right. All right, whether you like it or not. Well, it's a hard pill to swallow, but we got to do it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ninja.
Ninja.
Anyway.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Peace and love. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Peace and love. See ya.
See ya. All right. That was Ninja Cat 111, and so do subscribe to her channel, and she also does a variety of things just culturally. That's very nice. Takes pictures of the flowers in her garden, or sometimes catches the definite pretend UFO activity up in the skies. They got a lot of it going on there, and that's why they were targeting her, because she wanted to report UFOs in the sky to the traffic control tower, and didn't realize that was probably not the best thing to do. And so she got on their radar, and then so the rest is history, as they say. So in Jesus. Oh, by the way, well, I think we can continue to roll here. I was just I think Shelley figured out the audio situation, so we'll find out here in a bit. But in the Dictionary of Scriptures and Myths, we have Jesus wept as a definition, and that's I read that today and thought this would be a good read as well. So Jesus wept. And by the way, I'd love to have a caller on Skype. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but it would be great. Actually, let me think here. We're on Skype with I'm on Skype with my engineer, and so if somebody called in on Skype, how would we do that? Maybe we can only do the phone. I'm not sure. We'll have to figure this out. We'll have to do a test one day and figure this out. Okay, Jesus wept. A symbol of the weakness of the lower nature in the presence of the difficulties which the higher nature must surmount in raising and purifying the soul. And when he drew near, he saw the city and wept over it, saying, "If you had known in this day, even you, the things which belong unto the peace, your peace, but now they are hidden from your eyes." Luke 19:41-42. The Christ soul had come to take the citadel of the lower activities or capacity of mind wherein the qualities have been wont to be used. He had come to his own from afar, and when he saw the task which lay before him, the humanity in Yeshua was stirred. Hence the statement is made, he wept. The Moeshiach, however, did not weep. It was the distress and distrust of the lower nature to accomplish the task which lay before the higher that appalled. And it was only after the lower was able to see that it was not the doer, but only the illusory agent, that the triumph was ultimately achieved. That's what our body is, the illusory agent, ladies and gentlemen. It is an illusion. Wasn't here not too long ago, right? Where were you 100 years ago? Oh, you weren't here. Okay, you were somewhere. Your spirit was, right? Waiting. in the treasure chest, waiting to come out. Yeshua as the fish, a symbol of the higher self as the savior of the earthly soul. He, the great Elohim, had his dwelling in the great sea and was a fish therein. That's from the Zohar. Yeshua is a fish, in the metaphor, that lives in the midst of the waters. St. Augustine. The great sea, the great cosmic sea, is the primeval water, the symbol of truth reality which outpours from the absolute. The higher self abides and manifests in the ocean of truth. Hence the symbol of the fish as the spiritual life within the reality of being. Sea Abtu, fish. Deluge, fish. Great, Jonah, Pisces, Poseidon, Punja, and Tangora. Those are all other definitions in the book. Yeshua as the lamb. Actually as the Zavram, the Aram, the star ram, a symbol of the Moeshiach as the divine Trevane sacrifice for the benefit of humanity. The young ram is a worldwide symbol of the sacrifice of the higher self in entering upon the cycle of manifestation called Zodiac. Yeshua as the servant hand, a symbol of the awakening soul, receptive of the favor for all of the great Elohim. Yeshua being a generic title with varieties such as Joshua and Yeshua, it is requisite that it should be allocated to a particular described type before it may bear a symbolical meaning. The Didache, in which the expression Yeshua, thy servant, occurs, is a sort of ethic dissertation upon the qualities. Reference to the coordinating principle, the Moeshiach, is rare. There is no biographical account of Yeshua. Well, that's not true. It's actually in for instance, the writing of Tiberius, or a Pilate of his letter to Tiberius, and then other accounts as well. We have gospel, the Nativity narrative found in the lost books of the Bible, forgotten books of Eden, and so forth. Okay, so an account of Yeshua for the simple reason, probably, that the idea of the star message of enlightenment and the drama had not yet arisen in the spiritual mind in connection with the title of Yeshua. Well, these things were all predicted. This is not actually a very good quote here. Somebody who had not access to all of the lost writings, no doubt. When it did arise, the star message of enlightenment, gospel, gospel, and also detached sayings relating to Yeshua became very numerous indeed. As to the body of the bread, the unleavened, the bread with no sourdough, we give thanks in this wise. First, for the chalice, we thank you, our Father, for the pure anointed true vein of Tavat, David, thy servant, which you have made known to us by Yeshua, your servant. The illumination to you forever. For the bread, we thank you, our great Father, for the life and the knowledge with which you have made known to us by Yeshua, your Esharphan, the illumination to thee forevermore, doctrine of the apostles, a very ancient writing. Geez, I don't know if I have that. Doctrine of the apostles. I have to do a search on that. Doctrine of the apostles. Engineer, write that down. Okay. a very ancient writing. So to the divine life, the pure anointed true vine within the natural man, Tavat, is made known to the awakening soul, as also is the sustenance of goodness and truth, perfection and truth, the bread of the sun, the matzah, the mazoroth, the atomic way, which is bestowed in response to aspiration and effort. And let's see here. I think I've got one more. Let's read this one. Yeshua, the pattern or exemplar. The whole course of the typical life of the pattern man, Yeshua, is emblematic of the progressive development of the life begun on earth, completed in the throne of the Son, born of self-denial, and culminating in the spiritual ascension, in the Yochelleg life, the Christ life. As in a story, a Shan man may read the tale of the progress of spirit from incarnation to enfranchisement. The life of the man Christ, Yeshua, is a symbolic representation of the progress of spirit. Okay, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen, and that's out of the Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths. I read a definition, at least one every day in the morning, and I recommend you get a copy, and by Gaskill. Gaskill is the author, and there's so much ground to cover. There's so much ground to cover, and it says that many seek to enter in, but few are going to be saved. And when you realize what they've done to our writings, what they've done to our education, which is a false term. Education means what they removed from your curriculum. It's supposed to be enlightenment. What would we call it if it's not education? It's schooling. Schooling. There's the word. That's the word. The shul. That's where the word shul is in Yeshua. It's because it's the most primitive is Yashulin Va. Yashulin Va. Yashulin Va, actually. And that means the knowledge of the serpent that goes round. And what is the primary serpent? But the sun, the Ouroboros, the serpent that eats its tail every day, continually going round and around and around, nonstop, never slowing down, never not providing the energy for life on earth, just continual. How can it do that? That is Yeshua. That is Yeshua. He is light. Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, a.k.a. Yeshua, is light, and in him is no darkness at all. Just light, okay? And so it's a profound mystery. All these atoms, can you imagine how many atoms are in the sun? You can't. It's the number is so fantastic. It's beyond the mind. It's beyond the mind. And just like beyond the mind would be meta-mind, then we have the word metal, metul, metaul. Metaul is metal, and metaul, it means beyond the illumination. Wow, there you go. The creation of something from the mind, and we got the metaul, the metal, the metal, the L, the E-L, talking about the leg again, the L, letter L. And so metal was the prime cash crop of the illuminated, and they called it the meta-el, the metaul. And another word for the steel is, star eel. The steel is the star eel because you can see the sword shining, and they know that it had a sting like the bite of the serpent. And but what's interesting is the question then becomes: is the steel the activity that was created, or is it the metal itself? Right? Because they use the steel to steal. Right? So is it that then? Is so stealing then in reference to the sword because they use the steel? Probably. So that's where the word steel comes from. They used the steel, and that's how it all began. So whoever made the steel, sorry for everybody else, because this was secret technology, and it was easy to conquer the world when they were able to make such things in the beginning, And well, that's true. They stole the mind, Ninja. They stole they put a D at the end of it. It's because it was a mine to be harvested, and to pull out the treasures and the gems. Instead, they put the D on it. The mind, the mind, death, and yeah. So, well, I don't forget, you can still call in. We're not done yet. I'm going to try to think if I've got anything else I want to share with everybody. But 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. And be glad to take your call. We're grassroots all the way. They've got all the money. We don't have any money, but we do get the job done on a song, a wing, and a prayer. And, of course, you are our prayer, ladies and gentlemen. And we are trying to raise funds for relocating the ministry so we can get on with the work. Just as I was about to start the translation project on Word with my word processing after about 5 months of nonstop cramming of 12 and 14-hour days of reading in about 25 books at a time, going through each book, a part of it every day. We're just ready to start hammering the keyboard. Now we're having to pack everything and to relocate because they pulled the plug on us. They raised the rent to a rate that I can't possibly, afford. So that's your Freemasonry, okay? That's your brotherhood, the brotherhood, yeah. Just a brotherhood, just a bunch of guys wanting to better themselves. Yeah, of course, everything seems to be better for you guys. That's true. How come you give yourselves all the better jobs, and if you got the right handshake, you can get the loan at the bank, Yeah, just want to better themselves. So that's what they do. They better themselves at the expense of everybody else. And it's amazing. And you can definitely text a message on Skype. I'm not sure if we can do. I may have to get a second Skype account. I'm not sure, but that may be the answer to being able to take calls with Skype, or we'll figure this out, okay? But I'm going through Etheridge's scriptures real quick on the he did a version from the Syriac in 1845. Absolutely a superior translation of our scriptures, okay? And the words, like, here it says a city whose name was Nain, but I saw it clearly this morning, it was Noon. And then what happens? As he approached the gate of the city, he saw them following one who was dead, who was the only born of his mother. And so the mother becomes very symbolic, of course, of the feminine creation, the creation with her only love seed is dead. And she, the mother, therefore was also a widow. And a great multitude of the people of that city were with her. And Yeshua beheld her, and he had compassion on her. And he said to her, "Do not cry." And he went and he touched the bier, and they who were carrying it stood still. And he said, "Young man, I say to thee, arise." And the dead sat up and began to speak. And so where did this occur? In a place called not Nain. That's how they trick us. A place called Noon. A place called Noon, okay? And there it is. See, at high noon, what we want to reach in our spiritual walk is the realization that we are always at high noon. And when we are at high noon, we can raise from the dead of this earth. High noon. The metaphor, that is the pure shelter. Okay, that is the law. It is always at high noon. Think about it. The earth is spinning, but the sun is perpetually at high noon. And so this is where we have to
see ourselves at high noon, at the apex of our creation. In other words, when you see it's high noon, what do you have? You have midday. You have the best source of light. You have that generative power focusing directly down upon you. It's the hottest point. And that high noon is the apex and ultimate expression of the love and of the power of the Moeshiach. Okay. You have to see things with new eyes, and the blinders have to come off. And you have to get a copy of our dictionaries, ladies and gentlemen, if you want one. And a sample of the translation project. Actually, Ninja can get that to you. Hit her up at NinjaCat111, and also maybe Shelly can get it to you too. You can contact Yochelleg, and we'll be glad to just get you the copies if you want them. If you want to make a donation for them and support the project, then you're certainly welcome to. You can the email for the PayPal account is contact@freeamericaradio.com. That's contact@freeamericaradio.com. And you can also probably find a PayPal button at therealpublicradio.net. Therealpublicradio.net. That's my radio museum. Used to be my 7-day-a-week radio network. Therealpublicradio.net. And I'm grateful for the few listeners we have. We have some regular listeners that are there every program, and they get it. I'm glad at least that somebody gets it, because for the longest time, I wasn't even really able to convey the deeper meanings of many of the things that I share with you now. It's been a long journey, and of uncovering this great mystery, And in fact, rather interesting, because that I brought on the important word that was missing from the diction of being Aisha, and then now today we've got a book coming, the essence of the Essene book of Aisha. I have no idea what it's about, but I've got a clue here. The Essene book of Aisha. Whoa! And this was given to us by. And it's called the Journey to the Cosmic Ocean, and it is produced by Edmond Bordeaux-Ziquet, and so it's rather interesting how he's using the word Aisha there in the title of this book, and I can't wait to see it, because something there is to be obtained, no doubt, is some form of enlightenment, and. So the Father, he gives me the intuition to see things deeply, and that's what we have to do. Then he always gives me the confirmation. It's always right around the corner. He lets me see it. I get the confirmation, and that's what's called the anointing. Okay, there's only one definition for the anointing, and the anointing is truth. To be able to see and read things for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, and to know that you can know that you can know. Okay? And the only way you can know is to become tight with the one who made all things, because the one who made all things is the one who reveals all things. If you think that you can define things without being connected to the one, then you're really lost, because there's the debate, there's where the argument is, and theory is not science. Okay, just like the wormhole theory. I love that one. The only real wormholes that exist within our universe are in the brains of people who think that way. Okay, wormholes. And just like the flat Earth thing, flat thinking. They literally deny the greatness of the and the beauty and the symmetry of the spherical creation. And the ability without a floating teardrop in the cosmic sea, what the Earth is. It's a teardrop in another metaphor, and but they can't conceive the fact that it can even exist. They can't even conceive of it, and yet the scriptures continually talk about the spherical nature. Fenton, of course, Farrar Fenton is the one who brings it out because they hid it from most all the other scriptures. So you've got to get the most important translation of the scriptures, and that's Farrar Fenton from 1905. Okay, Farrar Fenton, Destiny Publishers are the ones who produce it. You can get a copy of it also from my friends at artisanpublishers.com. That's artisanpublishers.com. Artisan Publishers, all one word. Tell them Desert Owl sent you. Okay, I've been dealing with them for 25 years or so. Just great people over there. So, well, you know, I'm hoping that we can get some callers in the future because you know, I'm on overload really with the information and the insight that I've been given. I feel that I'm if you heard me talking about, for instance, Adam and his true nature and the true character that he really is, and the words that are all associated with him, you will know that I'm way down that rabbit hole beyond whatever anybody else is presenting out here on the internet. There's a lot of good flashy productions, you know. I'm not about flash and splash and all that other stuff, although I like that water, the curl of the wave. But you know what I mean. That it's about information, and you can make something look flashy and pash, you know. And I'm always amazed at these younger people that can produce this stuff, but it doesn't matter, you know, how good it is or the better production. It's about the essence of truth from the tree's root, and that it's not a part of any lie. Okay, not a part of any lie. And a lot of people out there have pieces of the puzzle. They've got a lot of it, but yet then they're still following a lot of falsehood. And the truth is not a part of any lie. So you can know that you know, ladies and gentlemen. But the only way you're going to know is to connect with the One, and He will bring to you visions and dreams, and communicate. He will communicate with you in the higher attic. But that's where you need to know the symbolism. Okay, you need to know the symbol. Okay, just like knowing that wave right there is part of the Fibonacci curl. Okay, that is universal throughout the galaxy. The stars that are in our galaxy, they go around in a spiral just like the wave, and everything spins, you know. Everything spins. So I think I've spun it enough for tonight. I'm inspired. I'm looking forward to doing a series as well with Shelley here on Forbidden History Live, and we'll be back on Sunday night. That's our next schedule is Sunday night. And if I don't lose my voice in the morning with Ninja Cat, but I'm pacing myself, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to get a rhythm this way. And if we get some callers, you know, I may stretch it even and do a little bit more, you know. But I really I like doing presentation, but really I want to answer questions for people. I know you're listening. You're the best listeners I could ever ask for. Just nobody calls in, you know. And but you're all there, and so thank you. Okay, thank you for showing that you get it and that you care, and that you are certainly trying to figure it out, at least. Maybe to some that are listening and not on the chat that we've not heard from before. Okay, so you know, it's a tough world, but we got to get through it, and the only way we're going to get through it is by going inward. Okay, inward is in your deep conscious awareness, and also inward in the Yochelleg. The Yochelleg is the royal center. And so thank you all for tuning in tonight, okay? And thank you for Shelley producing such a fine production. And we'll actually get better at this and do more, okay? So I'll try to have more on Sunday coming up with you all. And just don't forget, if you want to know the future, just look for the Forbidden History, because it's all right here coming your way, okay? I'm Desert Owl. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.